Restrepo is this outpost in the middle of nowhere in what you could probably argue is the most dangerous place on the planet right now. Describe what it is, what this place is.
It was a 15 to 20 man outpost that was built by hand by these soldiers, 2nd Platoon Battle Company of the 173rd Airborne. It was an hour and a half walk from the main base. They were in almost 500 firefights in their deployment. The first day I was up there, we were attacked 4 times in one day. No running water. They didn't bathe for a month at a time. No internet, no phone, no electricity at first. No cooked food. Hellishly hot in the summer, swarming with flies. They couldn't communicate with home for a month at a time. It was basically, they were on Mars. They had a rudimentary outpost. They were attacked 13 times that first day. And everything south of there was enemy territory. They were hit all the time. It was very, very isolated. And the guys, because of that, the guys did not have access to the wider world. All they had was each other. And interestingly, after they got back, after 500 firefights in their deployment, they got back to Italy where they're based. And after a few weeks of sort of, whooping it up, they wanted to go back to Restrepo. And that was what I was trying to explain in my movie and in my book. Like, what is it about war that draws young men into it?
To that point, the firefights, sort of what they went through, I have a clip of one of them talking a little bit about that. Let's play it.
You can skydive or bungee jump or do, kayak, but once you've been shot at, you really can't come down. There's nothing, you can't top that.
Are you going to go back to the civilian world then?
I have no idea.
This is about more, though, than the adrenaline, comparing it to bungee jumping or skydiving, being shot at. I mean, this is about these really intense bonds that formed between these guys that you capture in the film.
One soldier up there said, Sebastian, there's guys in the platoon who straight up hate each other, but we would all die for each other. What was going on up there was brotherhood. Very different from friendship. Brotherhood, you don't even have to like the guy, but if he's your brother, you'll protect him, you'll die for him. They all felt that way about each other. And for a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, that arrangement is a very, very secure place to be emotionally or psychologically. And they come back to society, and all of a sudden they're just 19-year-old kids again, bottom of the food chain. They don't know what role they're supposed to play in society. They don't really know who they are. That is actually more insecure, more threatening than a place like OP Restrepo.
Let me, before I ask you this, play another clip, which is, I think, something we rarely see, which is their reaction in that moment, having lost a friend.
Chill out.
Who's over there? Who's over there? Oh my God.
Shut up.
No, I'm not, man.
Shut up.
Calm down. Let's go guys out here, okay? Let's go enemies. All right?
Oh, man. It's all right. Still alive, dude.
Yeah, it's good.
He's alive.
He's gonna make it, dude.
There's nothing we can do. Where's everybody else?
It's hard to watch, I know, but I think it's also hard to watch in a way because so much of our experience of seeing something like this is Hollywood's version of it, and you don't see people breaking down in tears ever.
They're people. They're kids. They're high school kids. I mean, imagine a guy in high school watching his best friend get hit by a bus and crushed in front of his eyes and bleeding out, and that's the effect of watching your best friend get killed in combat. There is no difference at all. So these guys, they, in order to deal with their fear, they don't deal with their fear. They defer it.
We do have this situation in this country right now where thousands of these men and women are coming back having gone through experiences like this. And we are so ill prepared to deal with it. We're not doing much to help them reintegrate into the real world, are we?
We're not. It's a volunteer army. So only people that volunteer and their families understand that reality. And even the wives of these guys don't understand it, really. I mean, I've gotten emails from many of the wives saying, watching your movie or reading your book was really helpful. If I'd read your book before the divorce, we would not have gotten divorced. Because understanding what their men went through became crucial for some of these women in accepting the results of it, which were incredibly painful.
This is not a political movie. The book is not a political book. You're not taking sides here in any way. This is about the experience of war, which I think is important to note. But you were there a lot over this year-long period. What was your take? I mean, do you think we're making progress?
Right now is the lowest level of violence in that country in 30 years. No one realizes that. 16,000 Afghan civilians have died because of NATO combat operations in Afghanistan since 2001. a horrifying number, but it pales in comparison to the civilian deaths in the 90s. 400,000 Afghan civilians died in the 90s. So by that metric, we are making progress. The question is, does the world have the staying power to actually see this through?
Let me ask you this question, because I saw the movie on a Saturday night. I woke up the next morning and the New York Times had this photograph on the front page of a serviceman saying goodbye, crying as he held his 6-month-old baby. This is happening constantly in this country, and yet it does fall off of our radar screen. Watching these guys, do they feel like that people have forgotten them?
One very cold winter night out there at Restrepo, at this remote outpost, one of the guys said to me, hey, Sebastian, let me ask you a question. Does anyone even know we're out here? And I said, yeah, they know you're in Afghanistan, of course. But do they know that you're at a 15-man outpost on a hilltop in 0-degree weather getting attacked 5 times a day, and you haven't had a shower in a month? No, they don't know that. They are fighting incredibly hard out there, and that reality, Americans do not quite understand what that reality means.